At this point in time, it should be very apparent that our governments around the world have absolutely no intention to disclose the truth about UFOs and extraterrestrial beings. But it is happening, and it has been happening for quite some time. Think about all the high-ranking ex-military officers and pilots that have come forward to testify that yes, they have seen these craft, and they have seen these beings. The doctors, the researchers, are they crazy? Or is it just that reality is crazy? Right now, there is an endless amount of video footage capturing UFOs and aliens. Are they all fake? These days, how do you tell the difference between what's real and what's fiction? Now, the reason I say reality is subjective and not objective is because it is personal. When people open up the newspaper or turn on the television and see reports of people being blown to bits, do they stop and take the day off work? No, they go about their day. Why? Because that's not their reality. That's someone else's. Now, a person sighting a UFO and you never sighting one will absolutely cause you to look at something like that objectively because you need evidence. And until you are convinced with proof, that is not your reality. When and if the day comes where you find this proof, then your reality becomes personal. Because not everyone is going to believe you. So I want to demonstrate this by presenting something that has been researched and discussed for several years. And many doctors understand that it is not a hoax. And that is the discovery of this tiny little being, the Atacama Humanoid. I'm going to tell you the story and show you some of the findings, and at the end, you can objectively tell me what's real. The Atacama Desert, located on the Pacific coast west of the Andes Mountains in Chile. This 1,000-kilometer or 600-mile strip of desert is one of the driest places on Earth, with an average rainfall of only 15 millimeters or 0.6 inches per year, which is really just a nice way of saying that it doesn't rain. The Atacama is considered the oldest desert in the world. And interestingly enough, due to its aridity, in an elevated region of the desert, its soil and landscape have often been compared to that of Mars. In fact, this is the site of NASA testing for future missions to Mars. Not only that, if you didn't know this, the Atacama Desert, Chile, is one of the best places in the world to view the stars, and it is home to the Apex Observatory, the Paranal Observatory, the Cerro Amazonas Observatory, Las Campañas Observatory, La Silla Observatory, Tololo, Gemini, Alma, and the list goes on and on. You may also be interested to know that this place is known for its high level of paranormal activity. So knowing that this place is a hotspot for ghosts, UFOs, and strange creatures, would it surprise you that someone would eventually find the remains of something that is seemingly non-human? According to the publishings of the Chilean newspaper La Estrella de Arca, an antiques collector by the name of Oscar Munoz had visited the ghost town of La Noria to further expand his collection of artifacts. As he dug in an area around an abandoned church, he discovered a white cloth tied with a violet ribbon. and inside, a very small, very strange humanoid skeleton. Now, the story is Munoz sold this thing to a pub owner in Iquique for 30,000 pesos. It was then sold to a Spanish businessman and taken to Spain. The excitement of the discovery then died down. It wasn't until 2009 that this specimen caught the interest of medical doctor and ufologist Stephen Greer, who, with the assistance of Stanford University's doctors Gary Nolan and Ralph Lockman, would, through the analysis of X-rays, scans, and DNA extracted from the bone marrow of one of the specimen's ribs, unlock the mystery of this incredible being. The Atacama Humanoid is a 13 centimeter or 6-inch tall child, not an aborted fetus that has been ruled out, but a 6 to 8 year old child. But how? How could a human this size survive for that period of time? If this was some type of mutation or human abnormality, then it is very unlikely that the child would have lived to be 8 years old. In fact, the investigating scientists agree that this is not the result of any mutation, abnormality, or disease known to man. The analysis of the mitochondria tells us that this creature was a male born from a woman of the indigenous Chilean Indians. However, the DNA analysis tells us that this thing is only 91% human, leaving 9% of its genetic makeup open for questioning. It has 10 ribs. We have 12, and on a rare occasion, 11. The head is abnormally large with an elongated skull and alien-like eye sockets. Now, how many of you agree that this is human? If this creature was the son of a Chilean native woman, who was the father? What was the genetic makeup of the father to create such a being? Was there a father at all? Could this have been an experiment? Who fed this thing? Who kept it alive? Its mother? Did it somehow survive on its own? Something else that is disturbing is that looking at the injuries to the skull and fractures found in the bones, they believe this creature may have died a violent death. Now, there is no doubt about it, folks. This is a real creature. The problem is explaining it. This is not the only specimen that has been found, by the way, and take note that there have been reports of the discovery of ancient tiny humanoid fossils found in Antarctica. They estimate these to be millions of years old, keeping in mind that Antarctica was once geographically connected to South America. Maybe the answer can be found on Mars. Did you know that there are people who claim that there are humans that are already on Mars? And there are a few who claim that not only are there people on Mars, but there are tiny people on Mars. I swear, folks, you can't make this stuff up. And due to the amount of images coming back from Mars over the past few years, there are a number of people who are finding strange anomalies within the photos that are taken off of the Mars rover and Google Mars. It's crazy, I know, but it only gets crazier once you start to look into it. And believe me, it is quite entertaining. But very creepy in a way, because you wonder, why would a person even suggest the very idea of something so absurd? It makes you wonder, right? Maybe this finding is too small or too old to be considered a big deal. I'd like to think that the more we find out about this creature and others like it, the more we can fit the pieces of the puzzle together about our own existence and the existence of humankind throughout the universe.